I did not get a job. Black people did not get a job in the music industry that Clarence Avon did not know. You
Wow.
know, or did not know about through our immediate supervisors, leaders, mentors.
Oh, that's great to know.
Yeah.
We remember he had the first penthouse in our building. Our building was huge,
Ah,
but he
yes.
had like this three apartment penthouse, and
Yes.
his kids or grandkids would play with us, as we were growing up. So it's good to hear how much influence and
Oh
impact
yeah.
he had,
Oh yeah.
So, we all know the Berry Gordy Motown story. Were you able to kind of see the ins and outs of that, or were you with different labels?
Well, I never worked with Motown, but it was a small cottage community
Okay.
of colleagues. So my friends, I have friends who worked. We all worked everywhere. So
Yes.
they knew something about my business. I knew something about their business. But I met Barry Gordy, but I never worked there.
Okay.
My mentor, some of my mentors, my greatest mentors, Gerald Busby.
Oh, yes,
Gerald
yes.
Busby, I mean, he was just incredible. I want to go back to at Chocolate City, which was
Hmm.
at Casablanca Records. Well, let me just say this. Neil Bogart, I know I mentioned his name before, such a visionary. I remember
Yes.
him coming back from Europe with the Donna Summer record.
Yes.
And of course, I'm on the East Coast, they were on the West Coast, and the lot was like phenomenal. Swimming pool in the middle of the lot.
Yes, yes.
And, so I would talk to the secretaries before speaking to my superior there. And, so we're talking, and I'm hearing all this noise, and I'm like, well, what's going on? And she says, Gwen, you won't believe this. Neil's got ladies in his office. He's playing this record, and they're saying, oh, Neil, play it again, play it again. It was Donna Summer, Love to Love You, Baby, hence the 12-inch, because they kept saying, play
Ah,
it again. So,
yes.
you know,
And
um,
that's fascinating.
yeah.
So, talk to us about the importance of mentoring. I'm your mentor in the Black Women in
Yes.
Ministry
Yes, you are.
program, and we support you and we encourage you. We're excited for you.
And I'm
But
blessed by having you as my mentor. Thank
say it
you.
again, play
I
it again,
am
play
blessed.
it again. So, talk to us about the importance of mentoring, having a mentor, but also mentoring others.
Okay, I'll talk to you about having a mentor, especially in this day and age. And I guess I'm coming from a personal point of view because, you know, I've I go with Maya Angelou. I wouldn't say nothing for my journey now. I've seen so many things, but there's so many more things I want to see, things I need to know, places I haven't been.
Mm,
And people talk a lot about imposter syndrome.
yes, yes.
And there are some things that, I find myself in places and I'm thinking, I haven't been here before. How do I do this? So mentorship for me,
Mhm.
I need those things. I'm not a big fashion person, so I'm always, my friends, help me with my fashion. Am I doing television? I'm in front of crowds all day. I'll talk. I'm a trained presenter. I came from radio. I'm fine with that. But as soon as you turn on that television camera, I'm like,
Yeah,
ah!
exactly. Well, our program's called The Real Black Women in Ministry. So the R is for relationships. The
Yes,
E is exposure.
yes,
Because if you don't know how to go, if you haven't ever been exposed to certain
yes,
things, the A is for access. How you knew how to access the music industry, but there are other worlds that you want to be able to access. And L is for leadership development and legacy. So that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that you're not the last one that I'm working with, and that you have someone who won't be the last one, and that the
yes,
generations really not only have generational wealth, but they
yes.
have someone that they've learned from, and that they're leaving something to someone else. And I think
Absolutely.
that that's so important, particularly for Black women leaders.
Without a doubt.
You know.
Without a
So, who
doubt.
was a Black woman leader,
Hmm.
past tense or present,
Okay.
who was most impactful in your life?
My pastor emeritus, the Reverend M. Francis Manning
Mm.
Fontaine. When I came to the New Hope Baptist Church of Hackensack, New Jersey,
Yes,
right?
yes.
I moved from California. I left Capitol Records and I moved back to New Jersey. I'm a Jersey girl.
Right.
But I went to Bergen County, and my mother's best friend went to New Hope. They're
Hmm.
like, oh, you got to go to church. And I was like, okay. And so I went, and there was a woman pastor in the pulpit. And you just didn't see
Oh, that
women
yes,
in the pulpit.
that was new.
And she was firm, she was confident, and I thought, Ooh,
Hmm.
I like that vibe.
Yes.
And as eventually I joined the church, and as I came to know her, as she came to know me, what was unique about her, what I really love about her to this day, is the first thing she had us do was to find our spiritual gifts.
Mm.
And once she knew our gifting, then she would make a way. If there wasn't a ministry in the church, she would make one for you.
That matched your gifts. Provide the
Absolutely.
opportunity for you to exercise those.
Exactly. So you talk about being mentored. I mean,
Yes. Yeah, that's important. That's important because, if you don't have someone who's helping you,
that's right.
then you're just kind of going aimlessly down the road.
That's
So,
right.
what was the path to even the music industry? Did you go to school? Did you major in something? Talk to us
I'm
about
going
the
to tell you.
journey.
I grew up in a little town called Springfield, New Jersey,
Hmm.
right? Union County, and it was the dullest, most boring town. And I say that with love because now I appreciate it. But it was a multicultural town, and I'm adding the black contingent into the multiculturalism
Mm, yeah.
because out of my graduating class of 130 seniors, there were 5 black people. Okay,
Ooh.
so I
It wasn't
gra
even the 10%.
Oh, no, 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 no,
You
no,
didn't
no,
even
no.
make 5%.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, no.
Okay.
So I gravitated to music, to the radio. My brother used to listen to the radio, and then I found black radio, and then I found LIB. It was
Yes.
AM, and around the time, dating myself,
That's
but
all
that's
right.
okay.
I grew up there too.
Yep.
Yes.
So around that time, I found FM. LIB went from AM to BLS FM. And
Okay.
they had, it was Frankie Crocker, it was Ken
Yes.
Spiderweb, it was, all those Bledsoe and Vaughn Harper.
Yes.
And then there was this woman, Vi
By Higginson.
Higginson. And I
Yes.
said to myself, oh, I didn't know women did that.
You might.
It was, I guess it was a time of women awakening,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because, women were doing things that they normally didn't do.
Yes.
So I had my transistor radio. I wouldn't let it go. I go to school with it. Long story short, went to Howard University, set foot on campus. I went as I said, "Oh, I'm going to be a history major," because I had
Right.
no idea. I set foot on the campus and I turned on the radio, and they had this radio station there called WHUR FM.
Yes. Yes.
And when I first turned it on, there was a woman on the air, and she called herself Ebony Moonbeams,
Oh, wow.
Deanna Williams. And I said, oh, they have one down here too.
Mm-hmm.
So I politely, scared, walked over to the radio station, which was a trailer
Right.
because they had
Right.
just acquired the station from the Washington Post. Catherine Graham, they had to divest some of their holdings.
Yes.
She sold the radio station to the university for, pennies.
Yes.
And they were in this business for 1 year. And I went over to the trailer, and nobody stopped me. And I walked downstairs, and I opened up the door to the library, stuck my foot inside, and there was a man standing there. I said, "You guys need any help?" And he looked at me.
Wow.
He's like, "You know the alphabet?" I was like, "Yes." He says, "Come back, come in." And my first job there was putting the albums back alphabetically,
I love it.
putting the albums into the bins, because at that time there wasn't programming. These disc jockeys can play what they wanted to play,
Exactly.
which is what made WHUR
So
the
the
wonder
point
of
is,
those
don't
stories.
despise small beginnings. If you
Absolutely.
got a file, when I got into television, I was a TV producer, but the first thing was filing slides back then. And at first I was like, I didn't go to school for this, but yes,
Yeah.
you did.
Yeah,
Because you have to have an entry point.
absolutely.
So now you're doing a podcast. Tell us about your podcast.
Ah, that was one of those things that I didn't see coming,
Mm.
because it started with me writing.
Mm-hmm.
My pastor, again, there's a ministry that's called the Marketplace Ministry.
Yes.
And when the person who used to do it left, she would just every day do something inspirational and publish it, send it around emails. My pastor said, "Well, why don't you take this over?" And I said, "Okay." And we made it a financial type of a email blast that goes out every Sunday night. So it's like a Monday morning quarterback.
Yeah.
And so I've been writing, and you know, one day my friend who stayed with radio, we came up together, and she said, well, Gwen, we ought to put this on the radio. And I thought, well, okay, you
I
know.
love it.
And so that's how that happened. And so we hit a couple of radio stations, and then podcasts blew up. So now we are Be Lifted Up, your guide to living the abundant life, and we're all about faith and finance.
So how can people find you? Where can people find you?
Oh, they can find us at beliftedupradio.com. They can find us at Mocha Podcasts Network. That's Mocha, Mocha Podcasts with an S network.
And also spell Be Lifted Up for them, because it's not BE. Tell them how Be Lifted Up is spelled.
Well, when you're looking for the podcast or the radio show, just Be Lifted Up Radio. Be Lifted Up Radio.
The letter B.
The letter B. Oh, thank you.
Not the word B.
That's taken.
Yeah.
On trademark.
Yeah, okay.
And B is already the B, letter B, Lifted Up Radio.
Okay.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's awesome. But the name of your company is B dot Lifted Up exclamation point.
Yes, that's what I had trademarked, because Be Lifted Up is more than Be Lifted Up Radio and podcasts. Be Lifted Up is about empowerment. It's about inspiration. It's about helping people understand why they do what they do with their money.
Yes.
You
yes.
know, those are the stories I want to share and tell before I leave this earth, because someone shared them with me, and it made the difference in my life.
Exactly,
You know?
exactly. So now you're a member of the Global Black Women's Chamber of Commerce, which is one of the sponsors for the show. And talk about the importance not of just women, but women business owners working together. That it doesn't happen overnight, but collectively some things can happen. Talk to us about that.
Well, you never know, and you never know what you don't know.
Right.
I'll start there. Number one, God created us to be relational.
Yes.
So meeting people, networking, whether it's sitting on a train and having a conversation, or maybe it's a connection you make at a cocktail party or at church, you never know how it's going to play. Because you know how they say that some people are in your life for a minute,
Right.
some people are there for and then some people for life.
A lifetime,
So you
yes.
never know how it's going to play, and how that person who's in there for a minute might be able to do something.
Or make an introduction, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, we went to a conference together at the U.S. Department of Commerce.
Yes.
We were there, maybe an hour, and we sat at lunch with people for 20 minutes. And now, as a result, we're going for our own meeting with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce.
Isn't that something?
Department of Commerce. There's the Chamber of Commerce and there's the Department of Commerce, the U.S. But it just takes a minute to really open your mouths and be relational, as you said. It was over a lunch, a chicken lunch.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. At the end of the day, people are just people.
Yes.
This is something I learned in the music business, because whether you're working you have some high government post, or
Right.
whether you're some basketball player or football player, sports player, or music, whatever it is, people are just people.
Exactly.
And just to connect with people, I mean, that's what it's all about.
Exactly.
You know?
Making the connections. We say connections, cooperation, collaboration.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we can do something stronger with someone rather than trying to do everything by ourselves, particularly at our age and stage.
Well, you were so right about that. I learned my lesson, and I learned so many lessons in the music business, but lessons that are transferable.
Yes.
And when vinyl was no longer important,
Right.
and then came CDs eventually, and then everything went digital.
That's right.
So we went
I
from
had 8 tracks too.
I passed over 8 tracks and cassettes.
Well, we had the big old 8 track.
Yeah.
Digging the scene with the gangster lean with the 8 track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when it was about 8 tracks and cassettes and vinyl, it was all about pieces. You made your money selling pieces.
Yes.
But when it was about digital, I mean, the playing field is wide open. So people were like, well, do I go with a label, or do I do this independently? and you have to do the percentages.
Hmm.
If you're selling pieces and lots of them, then 10% or 5% or 3% of a whole lot is better than
Right.
a huge percent of a little.
Of nothing almost,
But if
yeah.
you can go digital, and you know and go big, go medium, go big, go huge, where 90% of that is the equivalent, if not more,
Right.
than your 3 or 5% of that. So just
Exactly. So I started this year with consolidation,
mhm.
collaboration, and elimination and
Yes.
delegation.
Okay.
Is there something you can consolidate in your life?
Oh yes. Without a doubt, I'm actually in the midst of consolidating things. What I've
In
realized
your living space?
oh yeah, this weekend, oh my gosh.
Yes.
My living space, I there's a place, a space that I'm supposed to be. And I've been told that if you're going to move,
Mm-hmm.
you should start getting rid of things like 2 years before you actually do
Yeah,
it.
which I'm finding now, and I didn't do it. So my car looks like Sanford and Son,
Oh
but
no.
it's okay. So don't pull up beside me on the highway. It's not good. It's not good.
Uh-huh.
With whom can you collaborate? Certainly with the Chamber of Commerce.
Absolutely.
What can you eliminate?
I can eliminate. Oh, that's a good question.
I try to ask good questions.
What can I eliminate? I can eliminate my shoes. Oh my gosh. Clothes, shoes. I love shoes. So, I come from humble means.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was able to buy like expensive things, not just expensive things, but beautiful
Yeah.
things, when they really lost their purpose, I still have them because I couldn't do that before, and I
I
just
know
want to
we won't hold on to
remember,
this. I
yeah,
know.
what I
Yeah.
could, so yeah,
I just gave a bag away to the Vietnam vets
yeah, yeah,
out here
yeah,
in this area.
yeah,
And I've been getting this card in the mail,
mhm,
and I finally got rid of some things. They still had tags on them.
yeah, 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 yeah,
I've grown two or
yeah.
three sizes since
I
then.
know, yeah,
And
yeah,
I
yeah,
finally
yeah.
said, you know what? It's time.
It's time. Now, see, I'm like you. I have in my closet from when I was smaller, when I was okay, so
Yeah.
things like that. And then there are things like, dresses, like gowns and things,
Yeah.
and I keep them because I wore that to the Grammys, and I wore that to, but it's just sentimental. It's
Yeah.
like, but get rid of it. Yes,
Yeah.
I can eliminate those things.
Okay.
Yes,
Sounds
absolutely.
good. Sounds good.
Thank you for making me think about that.
And I have two apartments, so my mother's furniture I couldn't separate because emotionally I was attached.
Yes.
But I finally said it was for her era and her
Yes.
season,
Mm.
and it served me well. And emotionally, I'm able to release it now. So that's going to be one of the things
Okay.
that I transfer on that somebody else may enjoy it.
Okay.
But yeah, because I can't have all of this stuff in two places. It's just like what? So my formula, if
Uh-huh.
I said A plus B plus C
I knew
equals
you give me a math
success.
question.
Okay, you can make it non-math.
That's okay.
It's
No, no, it's
algebra,
okay.
algebra.
It's okay. I'll
A
take it.
plus B plus C
Uh-huh.
equals success.
Uh-huh.
What are your A, B, and C's?
My A is a connection to the divine.
Okay,
That's A,
the Almighty.
the
Okay.
Almighty.
Mm-hmm.
Plus B is obedience to do what He tells me to do.
Okay,
Equals success. That's it.
that's it. So almost every person who's on this Black Women Leader series has talked about faith.
Hmm.
No matter what business they were in, no matter what line of achievement they've had, that faith was important to undergird them. So, how do you know you're doing the right thing?
Well, I'm going back to my mentor, my pastor emeritus, Reverend M. Francis Manning. When we found our spiritual gifts, because she made us all take the class,
Mm-hmm.
my gifts, my top three were administration, leadership, and faith.
Mm,
So when it comes to faith, I know that I know that I know that I know.
okay.
I know about my faith. I
You
know
feel the
that my faith
fire.
is. I know where it is. I know where it emanates,
Okay.
and I know what has gotten me through. I know its capability
Mm-hmm.
to get me through. Um, I Here's what got me. I'm going to tell you what got me. What really made me realize my faith. There was a time that I'm divorced. I'm a single mother for years and years, and it's okay. But I needed a vacuum cleaner, and I didn't have the resources. And I was like, "Oh Lord, I need a vacuum cleaner." I went shopping. There was one for $250. Gee, Lord, I need $250 for a vacuum cleaner. Let it go. 3 days later, at the door is a Federal Express package. I opened up the package. It was the Tom Joyner morning show. I won a prize. I didn't even know they were giving prizes. I just, signed up as a listener. I won a prize. I didn't win the first prize, which was the cruise. I didn't win the second prize, which was a $500 gift certificate. I won the third
Oh,
prize,
don't tell
which
me.
was a $250 gift certificate.
It doesn't get much better than that.
And when that happened, I said to myself, I got
Okay,
it.
I got it.
I
I
got
got
it.
it. I'm connected. So connections, connections, connections to the Almighty.
Absolutely.
What's one lesson
hmm
that you would like to leave for the world to make sure that
hmm
they know it without a doubt?
The lesson that I'd like to leave for the world is about financial management. It's very simple. It's just simply pay attention. Open your mail. Pay attention to the fine print, especially with banks and financial institutions. It's play, learn how to play the game because the whole society, whether it's nationally, internationally, it's a game that we play with finances. Learn how to play the game in the ballpark, but also learn how to adjust the game so that it works for
For
you.
you. Exactly. Exactly. Credit scores quickly before we close.
Oh man, that's the name. Credit. That's the name of the game. You can do so much with a good credit score, with a great credit score. Not even good,
Yeah,
with a great credit score. And I'm talking 720 and above.
that's it.
Yep, yep, absolutely.
Yeah, it makes a difference.
That and watch your debt.
Yeah, watch
Watch
your
your debt
debt and pay your bills on
and
time.
pay your bills on time. One, two, three. That's good. That's an ABC.
That's an A, B, and C.
Yeah.
And you have been a delight to be on the show. I just, enjoy having you in the Global Black Women's Chamber of Commerce. And they can reach us at globalblackwomencc.org.
Yes.
I enjoy being your mentor in the Black Women in Ministry. And we're just looking forward to just great things. A door has opened for us with the U.S. Department of Commerce, and just looking for great things and greater things for you and your company. It's our time, and we're going to seize this moment. And I thank you for coming all the way out here
Thank you
and being
for
on our
having
show.
me. Thank you
And
so much.
you
Yes.
look beautiful inside and out.
God bless
And
you.
thank you for staying with us on Live with Sujay. You'll be able to see this various times, not only throughout the week, but also it'll be on the website of LTV. And we just thank you for staying with us. It's been a joy to have you. It's been a joy to have my guest, Gwen Franklin, B period, lifted up, exclamation point.
That's right.
And follow her, find where she is, but most of all, stay with us. Thank you. Until next time, I'm Dr. Sujay.